Laid plans of mice and men. I'm sure you've heard that expression before, correct? I was all set to come on at about 10 minutes after 5, and then one of my grandsons called, and he's actually still on the line talking to my wife. We forgive to the extent that we love. And that was Francois de la Rochefoucauld, which I probably butchered his last name. So, Francois. So, we forgive to the extent that we love. We forgive to the extent that we love. And it's appropriate to today's reading, which is embrace love and gratitude. Oh, I'm going to start by reminding you, my wonderful colleague, Reverend Lisa Ryan, will be on tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Central Time. And sometime today or tomorrow, we will do a midweek meditation, and that will be by one of our practitioners, and that will be Danielle Johnson, to be precise. So, embrace love and gratitude. First quote is from someone I studied in Latin when I was at school, and he was not an easy person to read. Cicero. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Gratitude is not only the greatest of all virtues, but the parent of all others. And Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind says, gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity. And that was on page 497 of the Science of Mind textbook. Excuse me, why I'm yawning, I don't know. Gratitude and love are spiritual companions, two sides of the same coin. When we cultivate gratitude, we open the doorway to love's vast realm. Gratitude invites us to notice the beauty woven into ordinary moments, the golden warmth of sunlight, the laughter of a friend, and the quiet breath that sustains. It calls us to see life not through criticism, but through appreciation. In the very act of noticing that we appreciate, our hearts expand and love flows more freely. Gratitude doesn't wait for perfection. It thrives not in a world without challenges, but in a mind that chooses to see life's gifts despite the challenges. When we allow gratitude to transform our perspective, even the familiar becomes miraculous. The things we once took for granted suddenly have meaning. This shift isn't sentimental, it's transformative. We're constantly reminded that gratitude is a way of experiencing the world with love rather than with judgment. Today, take intentional moments to focus on those things for which you're grateful. Notice how gratitude softens frustrations and it ushers in spiritual richness. Let gratitude be the lens through which you see life, and notice how love naturally flows in your awareness. In this expanded awareness, you'll begin to see that love and gratitude are more than just feelings. They are ways of perceiving every moment as sacred and filled with possibility. So, what do you think about that? It's always good to have a story. And I remember the story, and I don't have this perfectly, but the whole thing is, the general message is correct. There was an attorney in California, and he was down on his luck. He had a bad attitude. His clients were either not paying him or leaving. His family was upset with him and about to leave him. And he really didn't know what to do. And then one day when he was wandering in the hills, he just thought that he would write something for which he was grateful that day. And he got a book and he wrote it down. And he continued to do this every single day. And by the end of the year, his whole fortune had turned around. And he wrote this and read it every single day. And as I said, by the end of the year, and before the end of the year, his whole luck had turned around. He was getting clients who paid him. He had a family he was happy with. And that, my friends, is the story of what gratitude does. And the only thing he did differently was write down something each day for which he was grateful. And it just turned his life around. So that's an example of how it works. Affirmation. I'm grateful for all that life offers. I'm grateful for all that life offers. With gratitude in my heart, love expands within me. With gratitude in my heart, love expands within me. So if you have a story about gratitude, share it with people. You know, it's good to share, but it's also good to share things like that because it lifts people up, it gives them hope, and it also lets them get back on track again sometimes. So hopefully I'll be back closer to 5 o'clock tomorrow. It'll be Thursday. I should be. We will see. But in any event, whatever happens, my wish for each one of you is that you express gratitude today for something for which you are grateful. It can be just one thing. It can be small. I'm really grateful that I was able to eat a wonderful meal today. Whatever it is, just write down something for which you're grateful. And what am I grateful for? I am grateful for the support of a loving family. And I am grateful today for the fact that my grandson called and keeps in touch with us, or one of my grandsons. They both do, actually, but the one today. So I'm grateful. Gratitude's wonderful. Namaste.